Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Roy, and I'm here at the shop at Rath Motorsports. We're an automotive performance shop, but we also specialize in automotive care, maintenance, and upkeep. So I'm a fan of having clean cars. I like making them go fast. We like to enjoy time with our customers, but we also understand that we need to be able to showcase these cars, whether it be at a car meet, a car show, etc. As of late, we've been getting a lot of questions around the Alcantara steering wheel and the shifter, and just from years of either gripping it or hard driving, and maybe you don't want to wear gloves or whatever the case may be. But there is hope. A lot of folks resort to replacing the steering wheel right away, and that may not necessarily be the best thing that you can do. So if you have a little bit of time and some elbow grease, today we're going to show you how to restore the Alcantara. Before we get started, we're going to go into the sequence of events, which is going to be, I'm going to show you the steering wheel here in a little bit on how it looks like. Then we're going to go over some of the tools and equipment that you need to do this. We're going to go into the processes, so step-by-step process on how you do this. And finally, we're going to go into a after shot of what it looks like. And hopefully this helps you out. So if you do find value in this video, make sure you share it with your friends or share it with someone who needs to see this. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's take a look at the steering wheel and see what it looks like now. So I'm in the car itself. It just got it detailed about a week ago. It's kind of just been sitting here. So I just kind of figured let's take time to do this now. So you can see the steering wheel. Normally this is supposed to be very bristled. The suede is supposed to be up here, but now it just looks very matted. The Alcantara is all matted all the way around. So this part, it's not that bad because we don't really put our hands here. But you can see in general, it's not what it looks like when we bought the car brand new. You can see the shifter is still intact, but the steering wheel is not. So let's cover a step-by-step. Let's go into the tools and equipment that we need to do this. So here we are. This is a little detailing cart. These are just the tools that you're going to need to do this. The first one is going to be your Sonax Alcantara and upholstery cleaner. This is great stuff. I use it on the interior. I've preached the crap out of it because it's good stuff. Definitely going to need some gloves. That way you don't put the oils from your hand transfer to the steering wheel. Now these two normally comes with the kit. This is a suede and nubuck cleaner. It really just looks like a pencil eraser, but just look it up. You can get this on the internet and they come in a kit. So it's this and a brush. So it's basically an eraser and a soft bristle brush. And then I'm going to use the Detail Division. They have a little bit more coarse brush to get some of the debris out of there. Finally, we're going to use a fine tooth. It doesn't really matter here. This is just another brush I could get in the backside. And lastly, we're just going to use a rag. This is a Carbon Collective Detail Division rag. What I like about it, it's kind of like a terry rag, like a terry cloth. So it's got two sides. This side's a little bit smooth. This side's a little coarse to pick up those fine hairs as we grab the wheel. So these are all the tools that you're going to need pretty much to get this done. Why don't we just hop back in the car and get this going, shall we? So this is going to get a little messy, so make sure you just have a comfortable work area. As you can see, I'm using the car's storage and space to my advantage. So I have the brushes here, the eraser, and then I have rags here, Alcantara cleaner. And as you can see, the steering wheel itself is right in place where it needs to be. So make sure you're comfortable, make sure you're chilling. I do have a drop light here through the car, so that's going to give me the light that I need. And we're going to get started first. Let's walk through the high level process so you guys understand what's going on here, and then we'll go into a step-by-step approach. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the eraser here and we're just going to go through the entire wheel front to back, and obviously we'll do this here in a second. So we'll start off with the eraser first, and then we'll use the brushes. You can use any combination of the brushes once the eraser's done to just kind of pick up some of those fibers however you want. Use this little one to get in the crevices wherever you need, and then use the brushes to do that. Once that's done, we're going to apply Sonax to the entire steering wheel, and we're just going to work it in with the brush. So that's where the different coarse brush comes in. We want to work it in ever so gently, ever so slightly. Once we're done with the brush, what we're going to do is we're going to absorb the actual Sonax that's on there. We're going to absorb it with that terry cloth that I use, and basically it's just going to be a gripping and just absorb some of the Sonax. I have a dark towel, but if you have a light one, you'll be able to see the dirt and gump and grime and grease coming out off of it. From there, we're going to dry the steering wheel with the same rag. Use a different portion of the rag and grab another one. And basically, we're going to repeat this 2 to 3 times. And once it's all done, we're going to just take it with a blow dryer, a heat gun, but you want to be kind of far away. We'll get in that in a detail so you don't burn the actual fibers of the Alcantara. So if you're using a heat gun, set it on the lower setting, come back about 8 to 10 inches. Every now and then you want to grab the steering wheel if it's starting to feel warm. Okay, move to a new spot, let it cool down, soak it, etc. So don't burn the fibers. So let's start with step 1. All right, so first things first, just like I said, we want to start with the eraser and just kind of go through, just get this thing erased and just go through the whole wheel like if we're using it. This is going to get a little bit messy, so just be prepared. You know, you're going to have to vacuum this up once it's all done, but all in all, it's definitely going to be worth it. So what I do is I just like to pick like an edge of the eraser and just come and just start working the steering wheel like that. All right, now that that's done, what we're gonna use is we're gonna use a brush to get some of these fibers off. And again, the first pass is not exactly to get it back to showroom quantity or showroom condition, but instead that first pass is just gonna be just to get most of the stuff off there, get the dirt and get the debris. So basically get a brush, and you might have to alter here, and we're just gonna get some of this stuff off of here, just like as I'm doing right now. And you can play around with different brushes and just kind of work the steering wheel around however you see fit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the corners here and just get some of the stuff around the buttons. And again, don't worry about the mess. This is going to be very messy. And from there, once I get all the buttons off, then I'm going to go over it. So play around with whatever brushes that you want to use. This one's designed for interiors, so it's going to give me a more coarser one. But if I want to just lightly dab it, then I'm going to do that. So let me do that right now, and then we'll get back into the next step. Okay, so the steering wheel is starting to get its shape. I know the camera angles don't see it, but down here on the 3 and 9, which is the areas I focused on the most, those are starting to kind of come back to life per se a little bit. We'll show you the after once it's done. You guys saw that before. So what we're gonna do now is I have a paper towel here, just cover the electronics on the steering wheel itself. So you have your phone, your select button, and you have your cruise control buttons on the left side. So make sure you cover those. We don't want like any liquids or residue from the Alcantara coming in here, the Stone X and Alcantara. So the next step is going to be use that, and we're just going to douse the wheel in with it, and then we're going to use that same brush to soak it in. So just don't be generous on the sprays, because the objective here is to get up all the loose dirt, the oils, and all the fibers that we just brushed up. So once again, be mindful of the areas that you're kind of avoiding around the buttons, but don't be generous. Like take what you need. Cool. So we're gonna start with that, and then what we're gonna do next is we're gonna go ahead and work it in again with the brush. So I'm gonna use the bristle brush here, and just gently, right? We're just gently gonna work it in a circular pattern as if you were grabbing the steering wheel. So use whatever soap you can, whatever brush that you have available, whatever brush you're using for this. Obviously make sure you clean it up and just kind of gently work it in little by little. Once the steering wheel is soaked, you're going to see it because you can see where the Stone X is being applied. And once it's done, we're going to hit that up with the rag and try to get some more absorbed in there. So let me work on that now. All right, so we got it worked in all the way around. Next step we're gonna do is we're gonna take our towel here and we're just gonna dry it. You can use both sides. So generally what I like to do is I'll use the smooth side just to absorb most of the, obviously we just doused this, and then I'll use the rough side. So just squeeze it in like if you're rotating, just get it over the wheel and just kind of work it in, making your way around the steering wheel. So however you want to do it, for me this works best because I can just know where I'm going. So I'll do that now. Right now that that's done, you can see the rag doesn't do justice, but you can see all that grime, all that grease that I got out of there. It's pretty dry now. So now I'm going to use the coarser side. I have the soft side here to absorb it. Now I'm going to use the coarse side to grab up anything that I miss. Before I do that, let's talk about what just happened. First thing we did is, obviously we got the brushes, we got all of that loose dirt, that debris off of there. Then what we did is we followed up with the eraser just to get some of the fibers loosened and brushed up. After that, we went ahead and we did the Sonex and Alcantara cleaner. We doused the wheel and then we worked it in with the brushes you saw. And if you can think of this in one way, think of it as like you taking a shower for like going to a formal dinner or an event or a club or whatever the case may be, right? This is exactly what we're doing here, right? The first things first is, you know, we're getting in and we're getting rid of the loose dirt. So it's like rinsing the water, or washing the car actually. So it's like you're rinsing the loose dirt off, and then you're going in and you're scrubbing some of that dirt off, and then you're putting in the soap, the conditioner, the shampoo, whatever it is, just to kind of rehydrate your body, rehydrate your hair, rehydrate whatever it is that you're doing. And then once that's done, we're going to dry ourselves off, and then we're going to top it off at the end with that, you know, whether that be, you know, grease or gel or whatever the case may be. You're gonna make your hair look all good or whatever. You get dressed and head on the way out. So that's exactly what we're doing here. So I've already done one coat and the steering wheel looks amazing. It's a night and day difference so far. I'm gonna do another coat, and I think that's probably all it needs. So we'll do 2-3 coats here. Probably do 3 coats just to be safe, but depending on the condition of your steering wheel, that's going to be how many coats that you need to do. And it's going to be easy, really easy for you to tell, because you'll be able to see it. So you'll be able to see little patches, be like, oh, okay, this part is still greasy, let me hit this part up, or this part looks good, etc. So keep that in mind, and we'll just repeat the process again. Let me get to it. So this is after the first coat. You can see the Alcantara already starting to lift itself all the way around here. This is just one coat. So we're gonna repeat this whole process again, do 2-3 coats, and then we'll show you the end result. As you can see, it's starting to get more closely with the shifter. You can see some of the high spots where I missed, but that's okay because we're gonna go back over it. All right, so before we get started, one thing I did forget to mention is we wanna clean the brush off. If you're using the same brush, go ahead and clean it. If you have another one, go ahead and grab another one. In this case, I have 2. I cleaned both of them off. You can just use the Sonex and Alcantara, grab an area of rag that you're not using, and just kind of scrub it off, dry it off, and you can see how dirty. This is a brand new brush, and you can see how dirty it's got. So I'm going to try to do my best just to clean it up and go from there. So keep that in mind. You can either rinse it with a bucket of water or clean it up. However you want to do it, just make sure the brush is clean before you start. That way we're not contaminating what we just cleaned. So I'm going to do that now. All right, y'all, so I've gone through the first step already. The steering wheel looked amazing. Now I'm going through the second step. I'm just applying the Alcantara cleaner, having the wheel absorb it, and then go through the rag and do it again. But I'm excited how it looks. It looks really good just on the first pass. I think this one's gonna look awesome. So join me, let's make it happen. Finally, the last step is going to take the brush, once again, clean it. And what we want to do is see which way the hairs, by this point, the steering wheel, you can see the little bristles and the microfibers, and not the microfibers, the Alcantara starting to lift. It's unmatted is what it's called. Now what we want to do is just with the same brush, really look in here with the light, and you can kind of see what directions the hairs are going. And what you want to do is you just want to brush in that same direction. It's like you're drawing a picture, drawing a pattern. So just have fun with it. You know, take your time. It's very therapeutic, or it's chill. If you're having a stressful day, do this. It's very rewarding. So I can see mine. Actually, these are going down. So you're just going to gently come down and work your way around the wheel There we go, sorry, up, yeah. So we'll go up here and then work your way all the way around the wheel, keeping note of what direction it's going, because on the bottom it may be going a different way. So you'll see it. If you brush it the wrong way, you'll see the line go the wrong way. So if you brush it the right way, you'll be able to see that. Let's do that now. And then what we're gonna do after that is we're gonna vacuum everything up while this dries for a bit, heat it up with the heat gun, and if we need to brush it up again, and we should be good to go. All right, handy dandy vacuum, shop vac. Now let's wait for this to dry. It's pretty much done. Huge difference, huge difference. You guys are gonna like it. But let's vacuum this up right now. Let it dry, hit it with the heat gun. That way it dries completely, and then that's how it sits. You can use some protective coating, interior ceramic coating or interior fabric protectant to kind of keep it from absorbing that grease sooner, but I would say probably it's best just to do this periodically. Once or twice a year, should be good to go. Let's get this thing vacuumed up. All right, the last piece of the puzzle is going to be the heat gun, and we're going to set it to the lowest setting. Going to come about 10 inches away. Steering wheel gets too hot, it's really not going to work. So periodically dab the wheel and see how hot it is. If it's too hot, back up a little further. If it's too cold, then you can get at it. Again, we don't want to melt the Alcantara, so if you start smelling burning, that's bad. This should be relatively quick process. Let me slow down a little bit. There we go. There we go. And all this is going to do is relax the Alcantara. Shouldn't take very long. All right, we are done, and this thing looks amazing. Let's do a before and after, and you guys need to see this for yourself. So here's the finished product. You can see the little fuzzy hairs, the Alcantara sticking up all the way around the steering wheel, just like a showroom floor. This car is, what, 2 years old, and man, look at that. So most of you guys are saying, oh, I gotta get a new steering wheel, or my Alcantara is just ugly and it's greasy. Hopefully this video shows you how to restore it back to that showroom finish. So now, for those of you guys, if you guys are selling your cars, you're going to a car show, it's the little details. So you can apply the same method to the lumbars on the legs, and you can also do the seats. The seats are super easy to do. You can do this panel here on the ZL1. Pretty much any car that's got Alcantara or suede, you can apply the same process if it's really dull and bring it back to life. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. All right, so that's gonna cover it for today. This week's tip was more on car care, how to restore your Alcantara back to life, back to that showroom finish. We are gonna be doing other videos similar to this in terms of car care. We're working with detailers, paint correctors, and just trying to get you the answers that you guys don't necessarily have, or is really hard to find. We're also gonna do some performance stuffs. We rolled out a video on methanol, how to take care of that, and we'll just kind of be rolling these down the pipelines as we see them coming. So we hope you enjoyed this. If you did, if you found value with this, definitely share this with a friend. Save them money. A steering wheel is not cheap, but definitely follow us on our social medias, Instagram, Facebook. We're on our website, Rath Motorsports. Instagram is going to be WRAGTH_motorsports. Facebook is going to be wms.texas or Rath Motorsports Texas. We have a private community for our customers where they're able to ask questions, and one of us, myself, my tech, Brian, one of the tuners, will be able to answer those in a timely fashion. So if you're one of our customers, give us your invoice number and we'll add you to the group. It's super collaborative. We all help each other grow, make our cars faster, better drivers, safer drivers, etc. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one, and enjoy.